Hi, I'm Jan, and today I want to explore the topic of money and when were we taught what to do with it. Do you know that more than a third of Australians get uncomfortable, get overwhelmed, get angsty and stressed about money, even if they are financially secure? We were taught at school and university and our trade how to earn money, but when were we taught what to do with it? We've got much more information about money. There are a gazillion books written about money. There are software packages to help us budget, to help us set financial goals. There are far more investment opportunities and choices out there for us to make as well, to choose from. It's fabulous, but over the last 30 years, I've observed that money is still one of those issues, one of those topics that we don't quite have a handle on. There are many people out there that are struggling with money. It's one of those charged topics, isn't it? Like, sits there with religion and sex. Money, religion, sex. You don't talk about those things. And because you don't talk about those things, they aren't really familiar to us. We love money, we hate money, we're envious of people that have money, we feel guilty or shame that we want money. It's the one topic that most couples fight about, and that's money. But the question has to be, is it that difficult? Actually, it's not. But it is, as I mentioned earlier, unfamiliar to us, and our minds don't like what's unfamiliar. They will move us away. So if you've decided to pen in a night to do your budgeting, and you get to that night to do the budget, and what happens? Something far more important, like painting your toenails, comes up. You know what I'm talking about. It's avoidance. It's the mind that does that, because it's taking us away from what feels uncomfortable, what's giving us pain or angst, and it's taking us to something familiar. That's its job. There's a stack of rules of the mind, and one of these takes you away from what is unfamiliar. It's powerful. And I have to ask the question, well, what is my relationship? I can hear you saying, okay, that's great, Jan, but what do you do about it? Well, the first thing you do is question, what is your relationship with money? What is your attitude towards money? And then the next question is it resourceful or not? Is it positive or negative? And the very next question to ask is, where did you get that attitude or belief from? We're going to do a little exercise later on to help you identify those things. But certainly, I'd like to share a story with you now. And it was many years ago. I lived with my grandmother until I was the age of 5, and she had a very good friend. And that friend, I remember her as sort of like a gypsy. She used to read tarot cards for my grandmother regularly. And I'm sitting on my grandmother's lap as she's reading the tarot cards. And at the end of my grandmother's reading, she said to me, would you like your tarot cards read? Would you like your cards read? And I was just so excited. And I can remember this vision. I can see my fat little 4-year-old hands flipping over the cards as I was instructed to do. And she read the tarots for me. Now, two things that had relevance for me around money. One is that you would travel many times over water. And that's something that I've done and I continue to do. I love traveling. The next thing she said is you will always, don't ever worry about money. You will always have enough. Well, have enough. Yeah, I did. And I never ever worried about it. Didn't matter what circumstances I found myself in. Money was never a worry for me. I always had enough. But then I got to a stage in my life where I thought, actually I'd like a bit more than enough. It's not a matter of just surviving. I want to thrive. And so I looked further into why that belief was there. And then this memory brought up, well, of course, my mind believed that I always have enough, and enough I always had. So I had to change some things to make that different. So let's do that exercise for you right now and just have an explore around what the beliefs are that you hold, what are the attitudes that you hold, and where did they come from? So I want you to close your eyes now. You're not going to hypnosis, just a relaxed state, but you'd be amazed at being in a relaxed state and asking your mind a question, what actually does come up for you to explore and look at. So close your eyes, take in a breath, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. And one more time, breathe in and breathe out. And now I want you to go back in time down a wormhole or a tunnel. Go back to you're quite small and a kid, and the adults around you are talking about money. What are they saying about money? What is it that you are hearing as a kid around money? Was it any of these? Well, money doesn't grow on trees. Why have you asked me that? Do you think I'm made of money? Money slips through my fingers. If you're rich, you must have been not a nice person. And besides, rich people are snobs. You've got to work hard for your money. That's a biggie. Did any of those come up in your memory back then? You can open your eyes now if they aren't already open. But you know, if they didn't belong to you, they belonged to somebody else. Your parents or your grandparents or a significant person, family, friend in your life. And then you must ask the question, well, where did they get their beliefs from? Where did their parents get their beliefs around money from? And where did their parents? I mean, they've handed it down to you. But the wonderful thing is that you don't have to keep those beliefs or attitudes towards money. You can change them. But it's worth understanding that where they got developed is from their environment as well. What was going on for them? Was credit easily available to them? Was inflation high like it was for me in the 1980s? My mortgage rate was 18%. I mean, they were tough times. Was inflation high? Was it low? Was the share market booming? Did it crash? If it crashed in there, they would have an attitude towards shares that may have influenced them in their future decisions around investments or around money, and ipso facto have then influenced you. But the wonderful thing is your beliefs, your attitudes are yours to change. You can choose. If you want change, if you want a different relationship with money, then choose to make it different. Choose to be the change. It's easier than you think.